Hello students, in this video we are going to talk about graphing exponential functions. An exponential function has a parent graph f of x equals b to the x power. Now there are different graphs that come with a parent graph. These are transformations of exponential functions. F of x is equal a times b to the x minus h power plus the k, where h is a horizontal translation, k is a vertical translation, and a is an orientation and shape of the graph. As we said before, in the exponential functions, in the radical, in the quadratic functions, h translates the graph left or right, k translates the graph up and down, and a is just the orientation and the shape of the graph. H, we said lies, k tells the truth. This is the same in the exponential functions graph. Now we are going to graph the function that we have here, y equals 2 to the x plus 3 power negative 5. The first thing, we have to graph the function y equal 2 to the x power. When x is equal to 0, 2 to the 0 gives me 1. So the y-intercept in this case is going to be 1. So I plug a point here and use the graphing calculator, use a table from the graphing calculator. Now I'm just sketching the graph. You can graph the function. The asymptote in this case is the x-axis. Asymptote, it's a line that the graph approaches but never crosses it. You can tell that my graph approaches to the x-axis but never ever cross the x-axis. After that, we are going to start to translate the graph. In this case, a is equal 1. You can tell that we don't have any change on the graph, like up and down or the shape of the graph. Now let's get x plus 3 equals 0 and move 3 the other side, x equals negative 3. This is the role of h. We said h lies, so in this case h is negative 3, and you can tell from x plus 3 goes to negative 3. This is a translation of the graph. 3 units, so it means 3 units to the left of the graph. 3 units to the left, so I'm going to take the same graph and I'm going to try to shift the graph 3 units. So I'm going to go 1, 2, 3. So my graph is going to be shifted this way. Okay, the same asymptote, nothing changed. We have just changing the translation 3 units to the left, and that's the role of h. Now let's concentrate on the y. Y here is equal negative 5, or k is equal negative 5. This means that the graph is going to be translated up and down. Because k is negative 5, the graph has to be translated 5 units down. So I'm going to get the orange color that I just translated 3 units to the left, and then I'm going to translate it 5 units down. Be careful, I'm going to start to count units. So I can start from here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's a new intercept of the graph. So my graph is here, is the same, and is translated this way. So I'm going to try to do a little better here in the translation of the graph. So one more time, the first graph was here. The graph translated, as we said, here is the same shape, it's just translation. I'm going to go and translate the graph. That's a better view. Now, as you can tell, this graph is the same with the previous one. Is shifted 3 units to the left and 5 units down. You can see the role of h. H is -3 and k is -5. Be careful with the asymptote. As you can tell now, the asymptote has changed. You can tell that the asymptote is not x-axis as it was before because of this shifting down 5 units. So the asymptote in this case is y equal -5. The other thing, don't change, the graph is still continuous. Be careful with domain and range and analyze that. Domain is the same, all real numbers, but range, because the shifted of the graph you can tell starts from -5 and up. So the range is going to be all the y's greater than -5. We never say equal because we are dealing here with the asymptote. My graph goes nearby the y equal -5, but never ever cross that line. Thank you.